we invoke auspiciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jaya mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should respectfully offer obeisances to the personality of Godhead, Narayan, and to Narayan, which is the supermost human being, and to Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto the author, Srila Vyasadeva. We are reading from the third canto, entitled The Status Quo, and we are reading from chapter 6, Creation of the Universal Form. So that's where we are in our dialogue between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi. So creation come again and again in Srimad Bhagavatam. And here is creation of the universal form. We are on text 4. We are on text 4. And we can do one Sanskrit word at a time. Prabhuda, Karma, Daivena, Trayavimsatika, Gana, Perita, Ajanayat, Swabi, Matrabi, Adipurusham, Prabhuda Karma Daivena, Trayovim Shatiko Gana, Perito Janayat Swabir, Matrabir Adipurusham, Prabhuda Karma Daivena, Trayavim Shatiko Ganaha, Perito Janayat Swabir, Matrabir Adipurusham, Prabhuda Karma Daivena, Trayovim Shatiko Ganaha, Perito Janayat Swabir, Matrabir Adipurusham,
Prabhuda Karma Daivena, Trayovim Shatiko Ganaha,
Trayovim Shatiko Ganaha,
Pirita Janayat Swabir,
Perito Janayat Swabir,
Matrabir Adihapurusham,
Matrabir Adipurusham.
Prabhuda Karma Daivena,
Prabhuda Karma Daivena,
Trayovim Shatiko Ganaha,
Trayovim Shatiko Ganaha,
Parita Janayat Swabir,
Parito Janayat Swabir,
Matrabir
Matrabir Adipurusham.
Prabhuda Karma Daivena, Shayovim Shatikogana.
Twayovim Shatiko Ganaha.
Perito Janayat Swabir.
Perito Jayanat Swabir.
Machavir Adipusham.
Matravir Adipurusham. Someone online would like to chant the verse?
Prabhuta karma daivena
Buddha Karma Dalvena.
trayo vimshatiko gana
Twayovim Shatiko Gana.
ririto janayat svabir
Perito Jayanat Swabir.
matrabir adipurusham
Matravir Adipurusham. Someone else online would like to chant the verse? Okay. So we are going to do word for word translation. Prabhuda, awakened, karma, activities, Daivena, by the will of the Supreme, Traya Vimshatika, by the 23 principal ingredients.
By the 23 principal ingredients.
Gana,
Gana,
the combination,
Gandhi,
Perita,
Perita,
induced by,
induced
Ajanayat, manifested, Swabi, by his personnel, Matrabi, planetary expansion,
planetary expansion,
Adipurusham, the gigantic universal form, Vishvarupa.
gigantic universal form, Vishvarupa.
Translation. When the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form, or the Vishvarupa body of the Lord, came into existence. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Virat Rupa, or Vishvarupa, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, which is very much appreciated by the impersonalist, is not an eternal form of the Lord. It is manifested by the Lord, by the supreme will of the Lord after the ingredients of material creation. Lord Krishna exhibited this Virat, or Vishvarupa, to Arjuna just to convince the impersonalist that he is the original personality of Godhead. Krishna exhibited the Virat Rupa. It is not that Krishna was exhibited by the Virat Rupa. The Virat Rupa is not, therefore, an eternal form of the Lord exhibited in the spiritual sky. It is a material manifestation of the Lord. The Archa Vigraha, or the worshipable deity in the temple, is a similar manifestation of the Lord for the neophytes. But in spite of their material touch, such a form of the Lord as the Virat, or an Archa, are all non-different from his eternal form as Lord Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanajala Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakadamayam Dadati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shivu Shiyuta Padakamalam Shivum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Mitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute, Tapta Kanchana Gourange, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirveseshya Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Girim Yat Kripata Maham Bande Sigude Tatarinam. We are reading from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 4, text 4. And it reads, when the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form of the Vishvarupa body of the Lord came into existence. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So that's the creation of the universal forms. That's where we are at. And again in the Bhagavatam, first canto, second canto, like the first few chapters, universal form, it comes again and again. And it's kind of a mystery, at least for me, it's a mystery. I just happened to not have prepared for class, and I just happened to get a verse about something that's a real mystery to me. So we'll see where we go with it. And so why is it that we need to hear about the universal form? And that's, like Prabhupada already pointed out, Nirvisheshya Shunyavadi. Like we are all impersonalists. When Prabhupada speaks about impersonalist, he's speaking about us. It's not speaking about a strange sect in somewhere in India that we don't know anything about and we shouldn't be concerned about and just continue our illusion. No, we have all a tendency for impersonalism, to not be able to comprehend personality, because personality means something like us. And something like us is not desirable so much because there is so much pain involved. So much pain. Being a person is painful. We always try to be someone else, isn't it? Like being a person as I am is not good enough, so I need to be someone else. So already being a person is difficult. What to speak about being with other person? Being with other person with all their quirkiness and shortcoming and idiosyncrasies and all that, that's even more painful. So it's painful to be a person. It's painful to be with other person. So naturally, it's better to, like, if we become realized, if we come to a place of realizing ourselves, there won't be that suffering anymore. That's clear. That realizing ourselves means no more personality, which is a root cause of all suffering. And so that's spirituality. That's spiritual, isn't it? That's spiritual when there is no more person. So Srila Prabhupada said, like, the impersonalists are very fond of the Vishvarupa of the Lord, the universal form, the form of the universe. It's such a nice word in universal form. It sounds so fascinating. And so we can see, like, the beginning of spiritual life is connected with nature, isn't it? A lot of people say, I found God in nature. I found God with the trees, I found God with the mountains, with the rivers, I found God in nature. So that's a universal form of Krishna. It's his form. And then there in nature, you know, I spend a lot of time in nature, and it's the person is kind of blurry. You know, I feel people really like to be in nature because the nature is so almighty and so big. I remember when I started crossing the Atlantic Ocean, and there was only that almighty ocean all around, nothing else for days and days and days. And it was really difficult to have a boosted ego. It was really feeling really good. It was really feeling good to not need to be a person anymore with that false ego and like needing to be admired, needing to be appreciated, needing all those needs that a person need to be fed. And it felt so insignificant. And it felt so good to feel insignificant. And Srila Shiva Goswami, he puts that principle forward of that sense of feeling insignificant. So that's a spiritual realization, to feel insignificant. And in a sense, that spiritual realization is easy to experience in nature. You know, like I know Anandini is here, and the Alps, they are so mighty, so big. They can swallow us in one moment, those big mighty mountains. They can just swallow us in a moment, and with no warning, with no warning. So again, it's easy to feel insignificant. And that's that universal form of the Lord that the impersonalists are very fond of. And because it's devoid of a sense of needing to relate to a person, you know, in a form of the almightiness, which just feels so good. In a sense, there is that goodness. Impersonalist, there is goodness there, like to really be successful on a Brahman platform means that we are on a Brahman platform, and means that there is only goodness and nothing else. And in that, we can realize the creation of the Lord. But Srila Prabhupada, he explained here, I really like what the different part of his purport. It's very short purport, but it's quite very telling. So this form is not eternal. So if we get attached to that form, a personal form, because we are not impersonal eternally, and the Lord is not eternal, is not impersonal. We are not impersonal eternally. The Lord is not impersonal eternally. So that makes that form of the Lord is temporary. I know it's temporary. It is a form of the Lord, the universal form of the Lord. Of all the elements of the Mahatattva. That's what we were hearing from Maitreya Rishi. There is all those elements of the Mahatattva, and they are like in their subtle form. You know, all the elements like the 5 gross elements, the 3 subtle elements, the object of the senses are there, 5 objects of the senses, 5, you know, knowledge acquiring senses, the 5 walking senses, and you know, all that is within the Mahatattva in the unmanifested form. Unmanifested is like how it's called, aggregate of material element, the aggregate of material element. And when Mahavishnu expands himself as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu in every universe, and that's the universal form. That's where the universal form, taking all those unmanifested elements from the Mahatattva with him, in a sense, within each universe, then there is more manifestation. And we are going to hear from Arjuna seeing the universal form. So Sanjaya, who is the one who is narrating, we don't think of the Bhagavad Gita being narrated by Sanjaya, However, the Bhagavad Gita is narrated by Sanjaya, who is is empowered by Vyasadeva. Of course, Vyasadeva compiles the Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita is compiled by Vyasadeva and it's spoken by Sanjaya, who is speaking to Dhritarashtra. So Sanjaya is narrating a very important moment in the story of the Bhagavad Gita. In the story of the Bhagavad Gita, we have Arjuna. He was looking at the other side of the battlefield and he said, wow, I don't know if I want to fight. I probably don't want to fight, in fact. I don't want to fight because it's an impersonal tendency. Like that was like, I don't want to be a person. I don't want to kill those persons. So let me, retire, avoid. Let me avoid. Avoidance is a personalism too. Avoidance. So it's even Nirvishisha. It's like void, avoidance. There is a word void in it. And that means we want to merge in nothingness. That's what it is. So they went, we know the story. Arjuna asked Krishna, please drive me. I want to see who is on the other side. And so Arjuna, Krishna, who was vowed to not fight the battlefield in front of Duryodhana, he said, I'm not going to fight. He was tricking Duryodhana, in fact, because he offered Duryodhana, either you have my mighty, huge army, or you have me. And if you have me, I won't fight. So, of course, Duryodhana said, you're useless. I'm going to take your army. But Arjuna was so pleased because Arjuna is a friend of Krishna. He's a person friend of Krishna, and he sees Krishna as his friend, a person too. And so Krishna, the charioteer of Arjuna, took Arjuna in the midst of the two armies, and then we have that dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, starting with Arjuna's lamentation and Krishna taking a stand for him, understanding him and giving an alternate perspective, supporting him to understand that he's not this body. You're not this body, don't worry about it, but you are a person eternally. And then act, and what's meaning acting? What kind of action? An action that's going to please me. And that situation, the action that's going to please me is fighting, because you're a Kshatriya. And then, like that. And then the Bhagavad Gita goes on. And then Krishna really wanted, okay, like work for me, do that for me. And then after he needed to say, well, more about who am I? Otherwise, okay, I can say that to anyone, do what you do for me, Malini Devidasi. But then you will need to hear more about what's the reason why you should do those things. So Krishna gives those reasons in the middle chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and he gave different reasons. He gives, chapter 9, chapter 7 to 11, really, chapter 7 to 11, he gave him many reasons why he's the right person to serve, why he's the right person to give my work to. And then the conclusion of that part, where Krishna really, of course, Arjuna knows he doesn't need any proof, but still, for the sake of other people, by that time, of course, Arjuna wants to fight. And he wants to fight, why? For the pleasure of the Lord. Not because he has any personal agenda to fulfill, either by fighting or avoiding, but because it's what the Lord wants him to do. And still because he wanted to make sure that others understand that too. He asked the Lord, please show me your universal form. And that universal form, there is different description of that form, is a form of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. In a sense, it's the only material form. Like we have a body, and we can see our body as a universe. It's a small universe. Yeah. In that small universe, there is millions of living entities. And there is mountains and there is rivers. You know, the rivers are the veins and the lymphatic system, and there is different bumps and bones, and there is so much happening in that little universe, and we can see it like that. And then the soul enters that small universe, and then at the same time we know that that small universe is temporary. So similarly, that's only like body that Krishna enters. That's a material body, that's also temporary body, which is a big universe. We have a small universe, he enters a big universe. So as Garbhodakasha Vishnu, he enters that universe, and often we see picture. I don't know if I can grab a picture quickly from that, you know, like it's like it's represented as a big body, huge, humongous body. We can imagine it covers the entire universe with a 14 planetary system. There is all those planetary systems within that body, and everything, all the living entities. And I will go and read the description in Bhagavad Gita because it's very far out. Okay, let's see. So I will start in verse 4. So listen. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, oh my Lord, oh Master of the mystic power, then kindly show me that universal form. So are we ready? If the Lord thinks we are able to handle it. The blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Krita, behold now my opulence, hundreds of thousands of varied divine forms, multicolored like the sea. 100,000 of divine form, because Mama Maya, isn't it? Daivi Esha Gunamai, Daivi, Gunamai, Mama Maya Duratriya, Mamevayam Mayam, Apadiante, Tarantite, Maya Metam, Maya Metam, Tarantite, Daivi Esha, that divine, Krishna said in the 7th chapter, that divine energy of mine, made of the 3 gunas, is mine, you know, is my energy. This divine energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. But one who surrenders unto me, he has no problem. So Krishna is going to show, and when we see the mightiness of the universal form, there is no winning. There is no winning. It's such enormous body of divine energy manifested in a material energy. Yesterday I had a conversation with someone, and we always try to fix the material energy. We always try to win over the material energy, constantly trying to win. We know what's better, we know how to fix them, we know how to move it, and all that. Not understanding that Daivi Esha Mama Maya, it's Krishna's energy. How can we win our tiny, infinitesimal spirit souls that we are? We are a spark that can be covered. And we are trying to fight something that's come from the fire. That's ridiculous. A spark is not able to have any power over the fire. But the fire can give a lot of all its power, mighty power, to the spark. The spark, as you know, can have the same quality than the big fire. So that's where we are at. See, so okay. So, oh best of Bharata, see here the different manifestation of Adityas. So Adityas, demigod, the Rudras, and all the demigods. So the Rudras, they are different inhabitants of the heavenly planets. And behold the many things which no one has ever seen or heard before. So we are going there because that's where there is that universal form that nobody has seen before. Krishna did show universal form to Duryodhana, you know, in a Mahabharata is explained, but it's not the same. It was just like to scare him. It only showed him what Duryodhana needed to see, like to really be scared, because Duryodhana was so impudent. Whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body. So that's impersonalism. Everything we can see, it's impersonal, can see all in one place. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Everything is here completely. So nothing's missing in the universal form. Everything that we desire, everything we think about, every part of us, our thoughts, feelings, sensation, all the object of the senses, everything is there. Yeah, and we are in that universe. And we are made of that universe. So the small universe is made of what's inside the big universe. And we have nothing to do with that. Either the small universe or the big universe. They are all, it's in a sense, they are all one. So the impersonalists are correct. They're all one. It's all one, material energy. Everything is here completely, the Lord said. But you cannot see me in your present eyes. Therefore, I give to you divine eyes by which you can behold my mystic opulence. So in order to see that universal form, we need to be empowered by Krishna, because otherwise all we see is like the top of our nose. In a sense, it's an expression. I don't know if it's correct. Just we think we see things. We think we understand things. We think we understand what's happening. Like I had a few conversations about Israel, Gaza. And everybody thinks they know what's happening. Everybody knows, like, understand psychology and what's wrong and what's right. And we do that with every situation in our life, without understanding that all we see is the top of our nose, nothing else. So in order to really see the bigger picture and understand something like the war in Gaza, or understand global warming, or understand my day-to-day situation and my miseries, we need to have divine eyes. And those divine eyes, Krishna said, I can give it to you. He can give it to us too, for us to see things in a proper perspective. That's what it is that we want to see things in a proper perspective. What's that proper perspective? Is Krishna's perspective. Krishna's perspective, to see the world as if we were seeing it from Krishna's perspective. And when we see the world as if we see it from Krishna's perspective, then we see things in proper perspective, and there is no more confusion. I'm going to continue and go through, because if I stop everywhere else, we are not going to go very fast. So Sanjaya said, again, Sanjaya is narrating the Bhagavad Gita, O king, speaking thus, the Supreme, the Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead displays universal form to Arjuna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouth and unlimited eyes. It was all wondrous. The form was decorated with divine dazzling ornaments and arrayed in many garbs. He was garlanded gloriously, and there were many scents smeared over his body. So all the senses, eyes, smells, noise, everything. All was magnificence, all expanding, unlimited. This was seen by Arjuna. If hundreds of thousands of suns rose up at once in the sky, they might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansion of the universe, situated in one place, also divided into many, many thousands. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna began to pray with folded hands, offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna is going to describe more. Arjuna said, my dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled together in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on a lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva, and many sages and divine serpents, all of the universe. I see your universal body, many, many forms, belly, mouth, eyes, expanded without limit. There is no end, there is no beginning, and there is no middle to all this. Your form, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs, is difficult to see because its glaring effulgence, which is fiery and immeasurable like the sun. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the best in all the universes. You are inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of religion, the eternal personality of Godhead. You are the origin without beginning, middle, or end. You are the numberless arms, and the sun and moon are among your great and unlimited eyes. By your own radiance, you are eating this entire universe. Also, you are one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planet and all the space between. O great one, as I behold this terrible form, I see that all the planetary systems are perplexed. They're all perplexed. Everywhere there is perplexities in the material world. All the demigods are surrendering and entering into you. They are very much afraid. With folded hand, they are singing the Vedic hymns. The different manifestation of Lord Shivas, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadyas, the Vishvadevas, the two Ashvins, the Maruts, the forefathers, and the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asura, and all perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. O Almighty Armwine, all the planets and their demigods are disturbed at seeing your many faces, eyes, arms, belly, and legs, and your terrible teeth that are disturbed. They are disturbed, so am I. Oh, all-pervading Vishnu, I can no longer maintain my equilibrium. Seeing your radiant color, fills the sky and beholding your eyes and mouth, I am afraid. We want to be afraid. Srila Prabhupada said, what's the problem with my disciple and follower is that they are not enough afraid of Maya. We want to be afraid of Maya. This Maya is very strong. The force of illusion is stronger than us. We are tiny and we can be covered so easily by the force of illusion. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like face and awful teeth in all directions. I am bewildered. We are always bewildered by Maya. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma and Drona and Karna, and all the soldiers are rushing into your mouth. Their heads smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. That's death. It's coming. All of us, we are going to die, crushed. As the rivers flow in the sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouth and perish. I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouth as moths dash into the blazing fire, O Vishnu. I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouth and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays, scorching the world. You are manifest. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me, who are you? I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear it. We are going to stop here. Hare Krishna. So at the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada speak about the archer. So archer is the form that Krishna chose to manifest himself for our blind eyes. Our eyes don't see spirit. We only see matter. We don't see spirit. Spirit cannot see, we cannot see spirit with our eyes. We cannot hear spirit with our ears, our material ears, our material eyes, our material anything is not going to see what's beyond matter. So Krishna, out of his gracious, unlimited compassion to us, benevolence to us, he take a form. Of course, Krishna can choose any form he wants. We see that, Lord Nrsimhadev, half lion, half man. He takes the form of a boar. It says that he manifests himself in the 8,400,000 species of life. All of them. He can manifest himself in whatever shape he wants, whatever shape, form, manifest himself in the form of a fire in the Bible. So he also manifests himself in the form of the universal form, and he manifests himself in the form of the Arsha Vigraha. So for us, we only see stone or brass, but one who is anointed with the salve of love of God doesn't see anymore matter. You only see Krishna everywhere. Krishna's love, Krishna's attention, Krishna's manifestation. Only see Krishna's nature. Whose nature it is? Krishna. We all have our nature, Prabhupada said. That's Krishna's nature. And in Arsha Vigraha, a pure devotee, he doesn't see stone anymore. He doesn't see marble. He sees Krishna. He speaks with Krishna. He interacts with Krishna. There are so many stories, like one was posted yesterday, I think, Bhakti Yoga discussion. So many stories of devotees having pastime with the deities, the deities speaking to them, the deity walking, like in a Shakshi Gopal pastimes. And there is that, the deity of Shiro Gopinath hiding streetwise for Madhavendra Puris. There is so many stories with pure devotees that when they are in front of the deity form of the Lord in the temple, they see the Lord and they interact with the Lord, and their eyes are spiritual eyes, their ears are spiritual ears. Whatever come out of their mouths is spiritual nectar. So we are going to stop here. So we were reading from the 3rd canto, chapter 4, Creation of the Universal Form, text 4. Prabhuda karma daivena, trayovim shatiko ganaha, prerito janayat swabir, matrabir adipurusham. When the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form, or the Vishvarupa body of the Lord, came into existence. Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening. And I'm looking forward to our discussion. Any comment, realization, questions, whatever is happening for you? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I was on a nature walk yesterday. And Christy and I were actually speaking about the many different forms that the Lord has had, and how fantastical it is, and so amazing. And like when you were reading, it seemed like a fairy story, like a fairy tale, like there was like a children's book that you're reading to us. And it's because it's so far out and it's so amazing, and it's like, so what to believe, what to like really like, because my head, I just can't, it's really so amazing, and yet it's so wonderful that the Lord has all these different forms and manifestations for a reason. Like when he has those different avatars, it's for a reason of why he took that form and how he appears, and so but it's just it's still very far out, and it's just amazing. So I just I'm still in that wonder. I'm kind of in that childlike wonder, like, you know, like how did this all come about? And like if we were all here in a different form at that time, like we've never not existed before. So it just seems also like, you know, like what was, I'm curious to like know like what I was at that point. Like was I a blade of grass? Was I, you know, it's interesting to me just to know how we all existed then and now, and then so instead of getting lost, I focus on the present. But I can go back into like, oh, I'm just curious, like what that would be in those pastimes that the Lord gives us. So I'm kind of going around in circles, but I just feel like there's so much we shared during that walk that it was fun to talk about the many forms of the Lord. And
yeah, it seems that you had a great time.
yeah.
Great time in nature and Krishna's nature, and definitely, you know, Krishna's nature is aligned with Krishna's creation, and that's the reason why we feel so in peace there, because there is, you know, nature doesn't go against the plan of the Lord. Nature is aligned; it's perfectly in place, and while, you know, man's creation with man's free will tend to be directed away from God. Yeah, so you had that walk in nature. And you say, I'm curious, at that time, what do you mean by that time?
Well, my understanding is that it never not ever existed before.
Yeah.
And this right now, this is the form I'm in. And so when I hear these pastimes, like
it's the pastime of Arjuna and Krishna on the battlefield, for example. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Like, you know.
So you're wondering what form you were at the time. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Like,
yeah.
It could have been anything. It could have been a tree. It could have been the sky. It could have been, you know, it could have just been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been anything.
Yeah. So 5,000 years ago, for example, when Krishna was on the planet, that's one pastime. Of course, there is from other age. There is pastime with Lord Nrsimhadev, but other pastime from other age. So, okay, we already always existed, you know, never was a time when all this king and you know, like, so we always were existing person. And also we are Nityabada. Prabhupada said we are eternally conditioned. So a chance that all of us were conditioned in some form or another in the 8,400,000 species of life. And so during those pastimes of the Lord, different pastimes of the Lord, you're meditating, you're thinking, you're questioning, like, okay, when the Lord was on the planet, what form was I in?
Yeah.
What you know, what of the 8,400,000 species of life? Where was I 5,000 years ago, for example, or 500 years ago, is when Lord Chaitanya was on the planet? It's a nice meditation. You know, it's a nice meditation. The only one can respond is the Lord. The Lord can give you the vision. You know, like the Arjuna tree. We in the morning we sing that pastime of Damodar. And the Arjuna tree, when they were cursed to become trees in Nanda Maharaj courtyard, part of the curse is that they could remember their previous life, at least one of their life, which was they were the son of Kuvera. And they were able to remember how they kind of spoil their opportunity as a son of Kuvera, and they because of their foolishness, they kind of degraded themselves. But because of the mercy of Narada Muni, as soon like a moment of association with the pure devotee, he freed us from the most abominable type of fear. So those sons of Kuvera, they were cursed by Narada, and that curse was really saving them from so many different types of fear, like going to hell, for example, or suffering in many species of life after life, suffering again and suffering. And part of the curse is that they could remember their previous life. So I hear, and also, yeah, Prabhu, you like to know, okay, like what form was I, 500 years ago when Lord Chaitanya was on the planet, or 5,000 years ago when Krishna was on the planet. I sense that it's a really fun meditation, and that's what life is about. you know, like it's a perfection of using our power of thinking to have those kind of questions, because those kind of questions have the power, like sadhu, no, I was going to say, Munaya sadhu prishtuham bhavadbir loka mangala yat krita krishna samprasta yayatma suprasidati. Like when Shonaka Rishi, he was like the speak person for all the sages of Naimisharanya. So there was like an assembly of all the, and they had a spokesperson, because all the 1,000 or million, I don't know how many they were, they couldn't speak all at the same time. So he was a spokesperson. And that, of course, at the time they had telepathy. They didn't need to have computer or send the texts to Shonaka Rishi, that he knew what to ask. And so after he asked all the questions from the sage, Sutta Goswami responded, Munaya sadhu prestoam, you know, like, you know, he was praising the sage for their question. Is that he said only this type of question are relevant to the well-being of humankind. So and only those kind of questions can fully satisfy the self, because they relate to Lord Krishna. So your question, you know, is like a rhetorical question. Nobody really has a response to you. You know, maybe Krishna will reveal to you. But these kind of questions, they are capable of freeing ourselves and bringing the deepest kind of joy. It's just like, wow, yeah, because such a meditation to like lead us to understand I'm not this body. I was never, you know, like this body. I'm not Anasuya, I'm not even Anne, I'm just passing by for a moment in eternity, very short moment in eternity in that form, with that surrounding, with that whatever, that coming with this, with deserve and desire that come with it. And then very nice, okay, well, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have a comment, question? Sharing? Realization? Anandini, you have your hands raised.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I want to share an experience I had today, this morning. So my mother sent me a text message. She said, I want to speak to you. And I feel you have distanced yourself from me in the past years, and I want to speak to you. So I thought, okay, I will go and see her. And while driving there, I was listening to a class. And I was thinking to take flowers, to bring something to my mother. And I stopped at the flower shop, but the flower shop was closed. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to bring her anything today. And at that, when I was having this thought, Srila Prabhupada shared, so like in the older days, when someone went to see a saintly person, they would bring a gift. But nowadays, people just go and they don't bring any gift. So I thought, okay, this is interesting. And I thought, oh, my mother is not a saintly person, so it's not for me. And then I thought again.
The mind can rationalize anything.
Yes. And I thought again.
We are not.
Sound went off.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Anandini's sound went off. Try again. Oh, I wanted to hear the story. We are deprived now. We are deprived. Like, okay, So, like Prabhupada's directly speaking to you,
Yeah.
with no equivocal, like other explanation, and you can see your mind rationalizing. And then what? Then what did happen? Ah,
The videos were going.
but there is an echo. Change laptop. Okay, she left now, and she's going to come back.
Okay.
She's going to change to her laptop, she says. Okay, so it sounds like we have stories like that, isn't it? We climb in our car. I know when I turn on my car, usually there's Prabhupada, and somehow Prabhupada have a knack to saying only exactly the thing we need to hear at that moment. And it worked like that for Nandini. Okay, back on. Hare Krishna, Nandini. Okay, so now your mom is not a sadhu. That's all we heard.
So you hear me now?
Very well.
Yeah, strange. Well, so I got flowers and I went to see her, and she, we spoke, and she said, yeah, when I look back, it's when you started these seminars and the Krishna consciousness that you started to turn away, and you're not sharing so much with me, and I would like to know, and I'm fascinated about what you're doing and your deities, and they're so beautiful, and I even if I don't understand, I really admire you. And
Wow.
like she was really like sharing in a way I never saw her like this before. And then I said, well, do you want to know? I could share more. And she said, yeah, why do you offer your food and you ring the bell? And is it like saying a prayer before eating? And then I explained for me, it's about remembering my personal relationship with God, and to remember that he is a person and not just nature or love, or like he's a person. And she was really moved, and she said, well, I wish I would find something, to really help me connect with God. And then I left thinking, yeah, my mother is a saintly person. So yeah, like, and this verse was just what you were sharing, like the universal form, it's and nature, it's everyone has access to that. That's there for everyone. And like, I don't think it takes much to come to appreciation of God in nature. Like, as you said, like many come to, oh, there must be some greater power here. But then to come to the understanding, or even to someone who says God is a person and you can get to meet him, it's very special. And I just felt like Srila Prabhupada was guiding me, Krishna was guiding me in my visit to my mother, to at least be open to the possibility that she's a saintly person, or there's saintly qualities in her. So yeah.
Wow. It seems that, for your mother to reach out that way shows a lot of humility. Like a lot of humility. You're the daughter, and she's admiring you, and she's like curious, and she feels deprived of you sharing, because probably like not understanding that probably you didn't share because you didn't want to disturb her, and like that. And then out of respect for her and love, you didn't share as much as you could. And then you can see, like, yeah, she has all those qualities, and she's ready to hear more, to understand more, and she's yearning for a personal relationship with God, even so she may not know what's the process or where to find it. She's kind of wanting what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone would become a pure devotee of the Lord is 7 generations before and 7 generations after. And so just by practicing Krishna consciousness and, inviting your mother in your environment, and receiving prashadam, every time she's in contact with you, then, you know, she's coming to a place in her life where, okay, I see something special about my daughter. I admire that. Let me inquire. Let me inquire about it. Let me understand it better, and let's see if I can also have something like that in my life. That's very special.
Yeah, and you know, like I have shared a little bit before when she would ask, or but always with a lot of reservation and fear, and you know, like just, and it's the first time that I shared God is a person.
Mm-hmm.
That I want to relate to him as a person, and that I trust and believe and experience that he's really happy if we turn to him, you know, in a personal way. And I think that's what really made a difference for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a person.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting, you know, your parents are spiritual, but like you were apprehensive, maybe holding back out of fear to really share your core of what you are doing, because that's what Srila Prabhupada, the core of his teaching is loving God with a person. He even have a name and a girlfriend and an address and all that, and friends and things that he does and things that he likes and things he doesn't like. And then in that, you know, in that dialogue with your mom, those apprehensions were gone, and you openly shared the core of what's true for you. And it seems that you are in that space, you enlighten your mom to a different perspective of spiritual advancement.
Mm. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Great story. Wonderful. And Damayanti commented on the chat, he said, what a special daughter. Special mother with a special daughter.
We can just share it. Srila Prabhupada passed with the Sharfs,
Mm.
Greg and Bruce, who became Bhargamuni and Brahmananda. And so we were in New York, 66, and father's a business person and the mother is Mrs. Sharf, Jewish mother, like that. And we, whatever, you know, the normal habits of American secular people at that time. But so when Mrs. Sharf was visiting, and Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada noticed that her sons were not offering obeisances to mom. Could think, well, we offer obeisances to devotees or to the spiritual master, but this is our mom. You don't know her habits, but I mean, offer obeisances, offer obeisances. So Prabhupada was definitely seeing the parents of the devotees as saintly people.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. That's true. You know, like we all wish to be parents of devotees of the Lord. And our parents, they are parents of people, you know, whatever shortcoming we may have, but they are parents of people who dedicated their life to God with all their imperfection. Yeah. So they are special people. Thank you. Rukmini says she wants personal relationship with you. Thank you all. Anything else? Grand Torah Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Apremanande Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.